Hi, so today I'm going to take you through this presentation on belly fat. Now, belly fat or fat around your belly is something that we all struggle with, men and women alike. We find it very difficult to lose this belly fat. So why is it there in the first place? What causes excessive accumulation of fat around our belly and what can we do about it? That's what we are going to see in this presentation. So join me till the end and you will get some very important tips on how to lose belly fat. Okay. So in the first place, if you look at yourself in the mirror and if you see that you are an apple shaped rather than a pear shaped, then you must remember that it will be very difficult to lose this belly fat. Okay. And you'll have to really put in a lot of efforts to do that. Now, why do we say that belly fat is bad? Because we know for sure, scientifically, it has been proven that fat around your middle is something which is very toxic because it is very biologically active or metabolically active, as we call it. And it increases the risk of heart disease, it increases the risk of high blood pressure, it can cause strokes, it can lead to cancer, it can lead to diabetes. So these are a few of the problems that fat around your belly or the metabolic active fat can really cause problems for you. And we have seen over a period of time that people go on crash diets and do some sort of exercise, etc. But that really does not work. And why does it not work? Going on a crash diet or just doing some sort of an exercise or popping in a pill or applying some sort of an oil which promises that you will lose the belly fat, all these things are not going to work. And we need an integrated approach. And why should we basically lose this fat? There are basically you have long term effects and short term effects. If you look at the short term, you will start looking better. So but if you look at the long term effects of doing exercise, following a routine, then you will live longer. So that is the benefit of losing this belly fat. And how do we do it? As I said before, there are a lot of exercises, there are a lot of pills, there are a lot of oils which promise that you can lose this belly fat very easily. I remember somebody telling me that this fat can just dissolve by applying some sort of oil to your abdomen, and it really doesn't work that way. So you have to change the body's underlying biochemistry so that the body gets a message that it is okay to lose fat around your belly. There's no need to store that excessive fat around the belly. That's the message that your mind should get. So let's look at the causes, basically why we gather a lot of fat around our belly. And one of the main causes that we are seeing nowadays is, of course, the action of stress hormone cortisol. So cortisol and adrenaline are two hormones which are released in our system when we are in stress. And if you remember that this fight or flight response is something that you'll always hear about. Whenever there is a stressful situation, your body either goes into fight mode or flight mode, and that is the time when a lot of this energy which has been stored in the form of fat is actually utilized. So in a way, it's a mechanism that body is employing to store this fat so that you have some sort of an energy when it is needed the most, when you are in a stressful situation. But now what happens is, now in this modern lifestyle that we are leading, we are the most comfortable generation. We have all the kinds of comforts at fingertips, but we are the most stressed out generation as well. The problems of the modern lifestyle are many. We have threats, we have stress, we have so many things happening around us that can cause a constant stimulation of this fight or flight response. And if you are in this constant situation of stress and fight and flight, then obviously a lot of adrenaline and cortisol is going to be released in your system, and that is going to lead to excessive amount of accumulation of fat around your belly. So on one hand, we have excess adrenaline and cortisol, so we want to eat more. And on the other hand, we have our lifestyle where there is lack of physical activity, which promotes more and more glucose to be stored, which ultimately is actually stored in the form of fat. Now, there is something we also must understand, and that is insulin resistance. So, when the blood sugar increases as a result of as a result of stress, if you start eating more, then obviously you're going to have more circulating glucose in your system, and an hormone called insulin is going to be released in your system to take care of this excess amount of glucose. But then on one hand, we are seeing that there is constant stress response, so constantly the body is in fight and flight mode, constantly it is releasing adrenaline and cortisol, constantly you are feeling the need to eat sugary foods and high carbs, etc. So you are actually consuming a lot more than that can be utilized, and over a period of time your system gets fired off and you develop something called as insulin resistance, where the insulin is no longer effective against the glucose that is there in your system, and ultimately it will be converted into fat and stored around your belly. Now, what is the connection of the fat around your belly? Why does your body store so much of fat around your belly? Because the liver is the organ which metabolizes everything, and the liver finds it very easy to utilize the fat which is around your belly, so that in moments of crisis it can immediately get some amount of fat that is stored around your belly and convert it into energy and provide it to your body. That's one of the main reasons why the fat is stored more around your belly. So now, how do we know that we are having a tendency towards storing more fat? So, there are certain symptoms that we can observe, like increase in appetite, increase in the craving of chocolates and caffeine and alcohol, and consumption of certain amount of carbohydrates and fats. All this is very, very high in calorie. So, this is something that you need to remember. Secondly, you will find yourself falling more sick, or your immune system going low, and you will frequently have infections and colds, etc. You could frequently have a headache, and you could frequently have blood sugar swings. All this points out to a fact that we are accumulating more and more fat around our belly. We can have digestive problems and so many other things that are there, which can point out that we are heading towards a lot of accumulation of fat around our belly. The other thing that commonly is asked is, why is it so difficult to lose belly fat at menopause? Now, what you need to know, that the hormonal cycle or the menstrual cycle in women is of course a beautiful synchronization between estrogen and progesterone and other hormones. Now, what happens is that estrogen is a manufacturing or rather fat is a manufacturing plant for estrogen, and estrogen is required to keep your bones from osteoporosis. Now, osteoporosis is a condition where your bones can break very easily. This can happen as you advance in age and as you go towards menopause. So at that time, a lot of estrogen is required to prevent this. And the fat that is accumulated, that helps in the conversion of estrogen. So this is a very intelligent way that the body has designed, where this fat can be utilized to produce estrogen. So, and that is why this also explains that why mere diet or exercise alone can rarely shift that stubborn belly fat, because the body actually requires it. So remember, the combined effect of female hormones changes, female hormonal changes, slower metabolism, stress and high cholesterol is all that is responsible for that fat around your belly. So what are your choices? Eat healthy food, sleep well, approach stress, tackle it, do something about stress, and exercise. Well, there are other questions also that come up, whether supplements are really useful. So yes, there are a lot of supplements like chromium, like zinc, like magnesium, and vitamin C, etc., vitamin B. All of these have a very important function in our body, and an adequate amount of supplements will surely help you to stay fit and also to metabolize that fat around your belly. So you ensure that you eat an adequate amount of supplements, or because why we need supplements is because many a times our food is not rich enough in all those supplements. We are not able to get organic food. Many a times our food is infused with a lot of pesticides, so all this is also going to add to the toxic load. So remember that you may require few supplements as you are aging, and there's nothing wrong in taking those supplements. Of course, you need to consult your doctor before that. Now, there are certain yoga poses that you can do to lose that stubborn belly fat, and these are few of the yoga poses which I have listed here. Tadasan, Surya Namaskar, Standing Forward Bend, Paschimottanasana, all Pavan Muktasan, then the boat pose, that is Naukasan, Utkatasan, Manjrasan, Bhujangasan. All these asanas, if you can follow on a daily basis at least for half an hour every day, then they will surely help to mobilize that fat and metabolize that fat in a better way. There are of course specific exercises for belly fat where you can do them, and there is a lot of information about these exercises on various sources on the internet also. So these exercises like fat belly with crunches, or reducing fat belly with twist crunches, or side crunches, or reverse crunches, all these are very important, along with the diet, along with the other stress management techniques that you will use. These techniques will also help you to lose that excessive belly fat. So here is that entire list where you can do along with the yoga. These are the belly fat exercises which are very specific: the vertical leg crunch, the bicycle exercise, the stomach vacuum. You can find a lot of these exercises mentioned, and a lot of videos also to guide you on this. So I think this was just a short presentation about belly fat, why it is there in the first place, what we can do about it. So next time you are really thinking about losing that excess fat around your belly, remember that just popping a pill or rubbing some oil is not going to help you. You will have to put in efforts to lose that stubborn belly fat. So let's start doing this exercise. Let's start making changes to our lifestyle. Thank you for listening, and till next time, goodbye. Take care.